else, man.
Maybe you could get AI to work for you.
Yeah, shoot, yeah. I need something to work for me.
Yeah, I think we're live.
Oh, we're live.
Get AI to work for you. There we go.
Yeah, shoot, yeah. Get that AI going for us.
AI.
AI, AI. Oh my gosh, AI is taking over. At
So
least
yeah,
you're on top of it. Go ahead.
man, I was on the phone with somebody yesterday, and he's like, "You got to check out this one AI that has all the AIs wrapped into it." And he's like, "This is like, $20 a month, and it has everything in it." And I didn't. I was looking around at it, and I was like, "Well, maybe it works." So one of my other coaches was using Poe. Is it Poe.ai? I think. Wait a minute, Poe. Yeah, Poe.ai maybe. And that was the one I was on for a little while. That's one of those ones where you like, no, maybe it's Poe.com. So yeah, Poe.com. So yeah, so Poe.com basically is um, you pay for one service and then it gives you all the AIs or different types of AIs inside of the account. So if as I'm looking at Poe, it has Chat GPT 5.4, 5.4 Nano. So it does images, it does what else is it? Image bots, video bots, audio bots, Canvas, um, popular things to do, featured bots. So there's a lot, right, to get lost in. And then what was the other one? It was like Starlink or Stargen. Hold on one second. I'll find it right here. Oh, man. Anyway, it'll come to me. It's on one of those. I probably got one of those little like, thanks for signing up emails. Anyway, so there's so many different things, right? So I'll share my screen, right? Poe, and then there's Stargen, Star LinkedIn. No, anyway, I'll figure it out. I'll post it in the thing later. But if I go ahead and share my screen, right? So basically, I was using Poe.com. I learned this one from Frank Kern, right? So Poe, and it's one of those umbrella ones where you pay monthly, and then you have access to all these different engines or chat GPTs or different LLM large language models, or if you wanted bots for certain things. I mean, I kind of gave up on that one, but I was using oops, foul. So this is another one that I kind of like use a lot. So Cdance is another video engine that just popped up, but basically Fall is kind of like Poe, but Fall is pay per use. So you can see over here I got credits of 28.47 over here, and well, basically how like you would just go, what is it, home, and then or you can just explore, right? So when you do explore, they'll have the top ones at the top, the newest ones at the top. But there's one where you could just, depending on what you're looking to do. So, have AI for trending. See how right here it says image to image. So basically, you would take an image that you already have, and then like if you wanted to, put product images on, like, oh, I want a certain hat on, or I want some like it already has my facial features, so I want it of me sitting in front of a computer, that kind of thing. Cdance is text to video or image to video. So it's a mistake a lot of people make, or I made, or spent a lot of money making this mistake. Basically, you don't want to go text to video. Text to video is like a big jump, right? So there's a bunch of words, and then and then think of AI as like being able to create anything and everything all at once, right? So you would want to create an image first, and then create different scenes, right? So if you were doing a scary movie, you would have a picture of a house on a like at night or something like that, and then zooming into the house, and then you would have a picture of inside the house of a person who's standing at the door, and then you can have them walking out, right? So it all depends on exactly what you're doing. And I'm looking for that when you're on Fall, right? Ah, there's this um way to go ahead and see. I guess they must have changed. You know how they change things all the time? Like you thought it was one way, a certain way. See, the thing is, I went through already and kind of like tabbed out, all the stuff that I use, right? So fall models, so maybe that's it. Ah, here we go. See, it was under explore. I guess I had to hit the search, right? So over here is all the different types of things that this that are under fall AI. And again, it's pay per use. So you put $50 in, and then if you wanted to generate an image, it's like 15 cents. And if you wanted to do a video, it gets a little bit pricey on video depending on which model that you use. All right, so we have Nano Banana 2, which is like the newest. Nano Banana is like the greatest for making images or taking images that are already made and then creating some sort of realistic look of if it was just me and I wanted to put myself in a hat, oh, here's a picture of the hat and here's me, and then it would make it look real, like, or put me on a beach or something like that. And that's uh, image to image, right? And then text to image would be like, I want a picture of a guy playing basketball and give away some facial features or ethnicity or however you want that to look, right? Um, I don't really use Flux a whole lot, but you would to narrow it down, right? You would just take depending on what your category is. Now remember when you're doing your category, you go image to image, right? Which is something of you looking a certain way, or your subject looking a certain way, and then putting it on the beach, or say it's in an office, and now I want it on the beach. Or if you wanted to take text to image, that's what you would start with. You would say a description of what you're looking for, and then again, you got to remember, if it's sunlight, indoors, outdoors, and all the lighting features, right? And then you go text to image, and then once you have the image that you want, you take the image and make it video, and that's image creation. That's just one type of AI, and that's the kind that you would use here. And then, of course, one I use all the time, 11 Labs. 11, if it would show up. I swear I clicked on here. E, yeah, 11 Labs. 11 Labs is kind of cool because you can just, put whatever, text you want, and then you can use it will clone your own voice, and then it will give you a whole bunch of other voices that you could use. And well, and then you could edit it, basically with whatever you type inside your text box. And then, of course, this is a paid per, monthly. I think I pay 20 bucks a month, whatever my plan is. Like, but there's another one that jumps up to 40 bucks a month. And I have it read my emails to me because I can't stand reading long emails. So I have a Snoop Dogg voice in here, and Snoop Dogg reads my emails to me. So yeah, people write these big long emails, and like you only, as a business owner, I only need like one or two lines out of like 3 paragraphs of stuff. So instead of like, and sometimes I'll just copy and paste it and put it into Chat GPT, right? So if I have Chat GPT over here, like you have these things called projects and you have GPTs. Now, the difference between projects and GPTs is that projects, you can put multiple, like, let me explain a project to you, I guess. So when I purchased my LED wall, I had it go ahead and scan the web and find me the best LED wall there was out there for the price that I was looking to spend versus all these other parameters. And then you can keep that all within a search, right? So all this information is here under one project. And it doesn't forget the information. So I have a few others. I guess it didn't hit refresh. Boom. I have some new ones I was working on, like KEE Expand should be under projects. Ah, there it is. All right. So basically, what this one is, I had it scan my multiple websites, and basically, I was like, man, I want to go more to the AV production side. Should I create a new website, a new domain, and then have all my SEO point to that? And it was like, oh yeah, since you already have traffic going to a site that has similar audience, just make a new web page, and then if they're looking for wedding planning or if they're looking for LED wall, they'll already be on your page, and then you'll get the traffic that's already connected with whatever you got going on. And that was a question I had for ChatGPT that it answered. Well, basically making a new page, or just adding on to what I already have. So that was another one that I did. And then of course the school group, I had it explain to me, the best way to build a school group. So if you guys want to have videos that I already have inside the group, you can just go to my school group and then go to classroom, And well, these are all the different, ways to start getting set up. So um, if you're getting lost on whatever the hell we just talked about, like I have a whole video recording series of me just doing random tasks, like, oh, I need to fix my SEO on my website. Well, I recorded that and then just left it in there. But I go back to classrooms. It's like, how do you set up your chat GPT between projects in, oh, that was this one. How do you set up your chat GPT between projects and what a GPT is, which I don't think I went back to explain what a GPT is. So over here, we have GPTs. And basically, I have one that's called my KEE Office Assistant. Every time I get an email, I just copy and paste the information into here, and then it goes over the data that I uploaded to it, and it knows, well, Scott does a wedding like this, and this is how we answered this question. And somebody asked for your price sheets, but you don't give out your price sheets till they do a Zoom, so it knows all that information and just spits out, whatever I wanted to do as far as like whatever the next process is. And then I get a lot of emails that are, from wedding planners or whatever, and they're like, oh, this is what the timeline's going to be. And then I just put it into here. Thanks for the timeline. And then, it sends a reply email. Now, what I've been doing with this lately is that I've been getting, I'll show you a real example here. I've been getting uh, people that corporate events, right? It's a little bit of a bottleneck that I have with my corporate events. So if I go over here to, what is it, Dropbox 2026. So I don't know if I can share that information because it's like a client information, but I'll do a screenshot real quick. Get out of here. Oh, that wasn't even it. Yeah. Oh, that wasn't even. Anyway, I had this one client that wanted all these different photo booths, and then we charge for 4 hours, and then after 4 hours it's prorated, and then they had like 4 or 5 days, and it was like, well, how do you figure out how much to charge for for all these different things? And I just put it into chat GPT and it just did it for me. And then I also, after I did all that, we do 4x6, or we do 2x6 prints, which is a film strip print. And then it was like, oh, we want 4x6 prints, and which takes up more of my paper. So we were like, well, okay, let's going to charge an extra $200 per shift. Uh, if you want the extra larger print. And then got really annoying. But since I have this already built, right, it did it for me in seconds. And if I could find the right client here, oh, here it is. If I could find the right client, I could show you what I actually did if it doesn't load on the right page. All right, cool. So, and this is what we're doing next week. So you can see here, this is what they wanted. They wanted upgrade 4x6 prints, which was $200 a day, 3 days, $600. The DJ, we did $1,000, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4 shifts of photo booth. And then, well, the out the door minimum is 650 with a 4 hour minimum, right? So that's 650. But you can see here it's 8 to 5 p.m. and then 8 to 5 p.m. and then 8 to 2 p.m. So let's say I didn't already do this work. I could just do it for you right now. And since I screenshotted it, you can just put it inside of ChatGPT, right? And I'll just do a real quick example. Again, I just hit a button and it turns on my microphone, which is called Whisper Flow, which is another AI. So I could just say, hey, look, I need a grand total of all the information I just uploaded into this image. Basically, we're doing $1,000 for the DJ, and then we're doing $650 for the photo booth that goes out for a minimum of 4 hours. I need to be prorated for every hour past 4 hours, and then of course, that top line says $200 a day for each photo booth shift. So we're just going to do $600. I know there's 2 shifts on Friday, I believe, but we're just going to do $600 total per day. We'll do $200 per day. So if you can take all that and give me a grand total and then break it down per day, that'd be great. And all I did was screenshot the image that I put up there. And basically, I could just input whatever the client put in there from the email. So that becomes efficient. And it's thinking. Another important thing, very important. So you have light, standard, extended, and heavy thinking. Now, understand, light is just going to give you a quick response, and it may not be most beneficial. In fact, I had it on light for the longest time. I didn't even realize I was so annoyed with the output it was giving me. Then I put it on standard, it got a little bit better, and I just decided to stick with extended. Heavy would just take longer, but you can see it's taking a little bit longer to come up with the answer that I have because I put it on extended. And then, of course, you have your master controls where you could have a different model, instant thinking, pro, or configure. Um, I like to keep mine on thinking. Pro would just take too long. It'll give you great answers, but it'll just take too long. And again, all these is in the videos right here in the classroom. And this is how I built my business all together on this one. Boom. I don't know. It's really coming up. It's got to analyze all the information I give it. Oh, here we go. Three events. So it's breaking it all down for me. Rate summary up top, 5-1, 5-2. Grand total, $6,150. Or you could have just did all that with math and a calculator or whatever.
Would you, after you do that, would you check it just because chat might mess up?
If it messed up because I didn't give it the right information. So yeah,
What I'm just saying, would you check it again? Would you go over it again to make sure it was right?
I would start small. It's not going to be wrong. Again, that's why when I was checking things, or let's just say we're not dealing with numbers. Let's say we're dealing with responding to emails, right? And I've spent extended time telling it how I want to respond, telling it how I talk, telling it all this stuff, right? When I had it on light, it would ask questions that didn't make any sense. Like, I'll give you an example. When I use my go high level, it's texting a client, right? And it'll say, "What's the best number to reach you at?" And it's the fucking number it's texting to. You understand? So I didn't understand that, right? So I was like, "Why the hell are you asking for a number that you're already texting to?" And then okay, so within my emails, it would say stupid stuff like that. I'm like, oh, and then I would go back over and over and over again. Like, why are you asking that? Or why are you saying this? And this doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, we're not apologizing. This is clearly a mistake the client made. We're just going to say it like this. I did that multiple times and didn't realize it was on light. And then I had to explain to me that you put it on extended, and then it'll go over more of the prompt that I had loaded up to it to begin with. Like I had a whole file that I uploaded to it. This is how we respond to things, right? So ever since I put it on extended, it hasn't really messed up anything. But when it comes to numbers or understanding what I'm saying to it, as far as structure wise, it's dead on every time. So I may have checked it a little bit in the beginning because I was questioning whether or not it understood the information that I was giving it. So if it does mess up, it's because you didn't give it the right information.
Okay.
So you can tell it three different ways rather than going back and checking it and see if it comes up with the same number three different times.
Well, here's another thought. When your client emails you all this information, a lot of times, and I mean a lot of times for my company at least, they gave you either a wrong address, wrong time, or then they come
Yeah,
back and change it.
they gave me the wrong time on this contract. I went back to the original email, and the last day was not 8 to 5; it was 8 to 3. The original email says the last day is 8 to 3. So I had the contract all sent to them, said, "Hey, sign," and they go, "Oh, the last day is actually 8 to 2." So I had to go back in and say, "Well, I redid it all over again, like what I just did." And I said, "Oh, pre-prorate it, and now we've just lost an hour on the last day," and it went back and redid it all over again.
Okay.
But it just took away the $175 or something, like whatever the difference was. 162, I think it was. Pro rate is 162.50 an hour.
Okay.
So it just took that off and then recalculated everything. In fact, it catches my mistakes humanly errored because so okay, the workflow could be make this contract happen, and then I'll copy and paste the email that came in versus what I spit out as a contract, and it'll tell me that I'm right or wrong, and it actually should say it like this, and I'll go back and fix the contract that I made and then send it out.
That's good.
So yeah,
There you go.
that was probably a lot.
Well, it seems you're getting the hang of it and it's saving you time.
Yeah, the information I get, I put into the school group, and I don't know, I'll probably have a paid program here eventually. But if you don't have like the basic stuff is what I put in there. So if you're not set up on the basic stuff, it doesn't make any sense to charge you for like the pro stuff, right? Well, you got to get on the basic level before you can actually crawl before you can walk. And you might be like, what's a pro level? Well, you could take one set of AI prompts and then have it cross-reference another set of AI prompts, and now you have an AI bot or like working together, cross-referencing itself and going out. Or with Go High Level, like you could call a phone number right now and talk to my AI bot, and they'll schedule an appointment for you, like right now. Like, and the stuff Paul was showing me yesterday, I didn't even realize it did that. Like, so if I wanted to go in here, like oh man, let me go into my Go High Level account. Like, I didn't even know like this was even possible. And we created this on the call yesterday, and I was like, what are you talking about? So if I go to my Coach Scott King account and AI Studio, which is in beta mode right now, I could say, um, let's go ahead and create a quiz funnel. Now, the whole idea behind this quiz funnel is that I want people to understand how much money they're losing every time they miss a phone call. So within this quiz funnel, I want you to go ahead and make a couple questions. All right, number one is, how many times does your phone call or does your phone ring on a daily basis? Number two, how many of those calls are you missing on a daily basis? And this is before and after hours. And then number three, how much is the client, like how many of those calls could you take and then make business for you? And then number four, how much is a client worth to you? So that's going to go ahead and create a quiz funnel for me. And then this is what Paul was explaining to me yesterday. Quiz funnels are like so popular these days because they're like interactive. So let's go ahead and say, you're getting 10 calls a day that you can't answer, and then you can convert, I don't know, five of those calls to business. And then, okay, well, how much is somebody converted worth to you? Maybe like $1,500, $2,000. Okay, well, that's 5 calls a week times 4 weeks. Could be $6,000, $7,000 of business you're missing because you don't have an AI receptionist. Would you like me to sign that up for you?
That's great.
So yeah, and it's still going. And then that's just a quick reference. Paul was telling me that you could, tell it, websites that you like and mimic that.
Does this rebuild websites?
That's what it's doing right now. It's making a website.
Oh, really?
Oh, that was another thing I did yesterday, or when I was in Wisconsin. All right, let's go back to Go High Level. So what I did was I went within my website, Coach Scott King, and then I was within. I could go over here to within sites, and then I had a funnel page up, which is called AI Business Section, right here. So when I originally made this website, I made it off of a template, one that was already made. So when I was here, go to post, yeah. So from the outside looking in, like it looks pretty clean. It's got all these videos and stuff, and it's ready to go, and it explains all the services and what an AI receptionist is. But since I built it off of a template, like I put stuff over, like over the words that were already there. So I went chat GPT and I was like, can you check out AI biz inspection? com and let me know if it's ready for a soft launch. So, and that's what I did. I went in there and I was like, hey, look, can you check out this website? Let me know if it's ready for a soft launch. And then it started pulling up all these template filler words. Islam Porum is what they're called. It's just words that make it look like you're there, and so you're supposed to put in your own words. But if you were on the website, you couldn't see it because I wrote over it. Like instead of doing it right, I thought I was doing it right, but it's like no, you have all these template words underneath these images that you can't see. So when I was in here, you could go to edit inside the funnel if it loads. There's a little ask AI or assist. And, oh, if it loads, it'll tell me everything that I need to do here. I'm reviewing, it'll review for you. And then if it wants to load, yeah. So I could go in here and say, take out all placeholder text through our entire page or website, or entire funnel there. So it'll do that. And then of course, this is scanning the site. This is the site live. I've already done all this. So um, this is already good to go. It's ready to take, orders or whatever. And then let's see how long that takes to load. Should take no more than like another 5 minutes, but yeah, so it's scanning. Verdict almost done, but not quite. I would not send cold pay traffic to it yet. I would consider a soft launch to warm traffic. And then it tells me the 3 things to fix on it. It wants me to have the things I didn't have. It wants me to have testimonials on it. So I just took that whole testimonial block and hit it, but it wants me to have testimonials. And unifying. Oh yeah, and it also okay. So I could take this part right here. That is suggestion. It wants me to have unified names for what the offer is. So it's actually a free AI strategic offer. So I can go back over here to my other AI and then do this. Boom. So now I'll go through and just fix what it didn't like. And then tone one unsupported certainly and add real legitimacy cues. Yeah, it wants me to go ahead and change a few words here and there. But where it was before, it was not able to be good, or it wasn't like Google friendly. Come on, work. Oh, a little beep. What do we get? So anyway, that won't take too much time to build, but I did this yesterday, and it's already published. So on average, how many calls do you receive during the day, including after hours? And we'll say 10. All right. Missed opportunities. How many of those calls go to unanswered? We'll say 3 or 5. I don't know. And then it's like, what percentage of answered calls typically convert to customers? And we'll say 2. And then we'll say 1,500 is each client. Put your information in. Monthly, you're missing out on $4,500 a month with those numbers, which is $54,000 a year. And I can set it up for you. I don't know, $1,500 to install, $250 a month to maintain, something like that. And did it actually build the one I was working on? Anyway, yeah, still working on it. But yeah, it'll take another 5-10 minutes and it'll build it out for you. And if you wanted it themed out or whatever, you can. So that was too many AIs at once, right? You got all that?
That looked good. That looked good. So you can go to anybody's website and redo it.
Yeah, basically.
How long does that take?
I mean, according to Paul, 5-10 minutes. But I have I have another class with him at 20 minutes, so I'll figure it out.
There you go.
But I didn't realize, I didn't know where the soft launch stuff was in Go High Level, or that I should be playing around with it, or that I could even be using it because it's in beta, right? So I don't know. Or how to utilize it, right? Like to come up with a quiz funnel about how much money you're missing by missing phone calls. Like I guess that's a Billie Jean thing that he's advertising right now. That Paul listened to that class. He's like, oh, why don't you try that? I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then that justifies the cost of pay. Like, when you talk to some of these DJs, they're like, oh my God, $20 a month is so much money, like, like you're missing out on $54,000 a year. I think you could come up with more than $20 for someone to answer your freaking calls. So stupid.
Well, at the end of the, or what used to be at the end of the day, is you got to spend some money to make money, and that's always been the case. It is either in education or uh, help, or whatever that is. So people some people believe that they're really spending a lot of money, but they're not actually, if they can get that much business per se. I remember about 30 years ago, I was spending like, I was in like 13 phone books. That's before they had the internet. But I got a lot of calls, and as things change, you go advertise somewhere else, and then there were books you could get into, and then came along like what you're at the like these whole magazines for like weddings, stuff like that, children's entertainment, and they started coming out and advertising. Now, you know, it's pretty much if you just type it Google, Google listings and all that stuff. Does your AI optimize people's websites?
That's what I was just doing. Yeah.
Okay, so optimized. So I should get you to do mine and give you some money. Like mine, and I probably need a new website.
Yeah. Maybe.
It's almost as old as you.
Yeah. Maybe. All right. I lo- Yeah, man. A pretty good video for, the three people that might watch the YouTube channel.
Well, you got your friend who's going to help you get it to a lot more.
Well, it's not really the YouTube channel. We'll see.
Well, we'll see.
Well, I got this call in like 15 minutes. So
Okay, man. Hey, everybody, have a good day, and woo, good job, Scott.
all